Bobby Ingram, Curtis Ennis. Know that we've been loyal way back from the beginning. A trusted source for the news. 79th Halas, what it is, what it do. Since Bobby Ingram, Curtis Ennis. Know that we've been loyal even when we wasn't winning. A trusted source for the news. 79th Halas in your ears. You.
Awesome. The Bears.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another edition of 79th Halas. This is episode 281. I am your host, Scott. Of course, you know to follow me on all social media platforms at Barberchair Scott. Follow the Barberchair at Barberchair Co. on all social media platforms. And, of course, follow 79th Halas. 79th Halas on Twitter. You know where to get that at. If you're watching this right now, you're either watching on Twitter or on the YouTube. So we appreciate you for doing all of that. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/Barberchair Network. The link is in the description box. And if you were, just watching this on a TV screen or somewhere, you can take your phone right up to the screen, scan the QR code, and it will take you right to the page and all the different kind of tiers we've got on there, man. So I would definitely subscribe to that if you haven't. Shout out to everybody who did subscribe. And while you're at it, subscribe to my personal YouTube channel. That link is also in the description box, and that QR code is also on the screen to get you right there. I'm trying to get to about 500 subscribers by the end of the year. Started the page like in June. So we bought it like 386, 387 last time I checked. So appreciate everybody. Let's get them things up. And filling in for my brothers there, we got the one and only JR Bang. One half of First Black Champ, some dude, also 1/4 of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, which will be returning on Friday with a new schedule, and I'll be giving y'all that new schedule on Friday. So look out for that, man. Shout out to everybody who was watching the live stream. We are going to recap a crazy game in Cincinnati and talk some trade deadline and the rest of the season going forward. But first, Bang, how you feeling?
Ready to find out who the fuck is Joe Tryon. Like, whose buddy is?
I have absolutely no idea who that guy
is. I know, but I don't know. And I'm like, why? And is somebody going to talk to us? Because it feels like today's trading deadline feel like you was talking to the bad chick and you end up going to call the bus down.
Well, I think to start this whole thing, to me, I knew that the Bears were probably going to make a move that nobody really cared about. I didn't think it was going to be a big move for a couple reasons. I feel like we've made the big move a couple times I use air quotes with the big moves because we know now looking back it wasn't that big. But Chase Claypool, of course, getting rid of Roquan Smith, getting rid of Khalil Mack, trading for Montez Sweat, which at the time was a really, really big trade. I think 2 years later, we're kind of like, he's okay. He's just okay. And especially after that big contract they gave him, he definitely hasn't lived up to it. So I wasn't expecting anything, big because I had a feeling that Ryan Poles was going to be gun shy and giving up these picks and things like that. But yeah, I don't know who this guy is. I'm not that deep in my NFL bag to know who he is, and there's no disrespect to the young man. I think he only has 7 tackles this year or something like that, but no sacks, no nothing. None of that. There was a lot of zeros on that stat sheet that I was looking at, and it was for like a 6th-round pick or something like that. My take on it is this: when it comes to the trade deadline, I get people who say, "Oh, the Bears are not ready. You don't want to give up more assets and things like that," especially when you see how many, first rounders were thrown around today in those 2 Jets trades with the Jets sending Sauce Gardner to Indianapolis and, of course, sending Quentin Williams over to the Dallas Cowboys. There's a lot of first rounders given up there. And, Bears fans, a lot of Bears fans, a lot of Bears media don't want to give up picks. And I get it. My only issue with that is not the picks. Y'all know me. I'm firmly team fuck them picks, especially if it's a superstar caliber player or a team that come out, a player that come out and take a team to the next level. And not to say that there was anybody out there who I feel like was to that level. I would have loved to Trey Hendrickson. I would have loved a Max Crosby. But looking across the league, it looked like that price tag was a little richer than the Bears. And obviously, anybody else in the NFL wanted since neither one of those guys will move today. My issue is this is the issue we keep coming up all the time. It's Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles, to me, is the main problem with this team. No matter what happened on Sunday, I just don't think this team has enough surefire talent that he drafted. I mean, if you look at his draft, history. Obviously Caleb Williams, which was the most obvious pick of all time. No matter how much you want to do money more than quarterback, and I'm saying he should have looked at all the quarterbacks. When we all know that was not the conversation at the timing of that whole draft process. We all remember that. But Kyler Gordon is great when he plays. Keyword when he plays. He's always hurt, and now he's on IR again. He's not going to be back for at least another 3 weeks if the Bears are lucky. You got him. Jaquan Briskers, I think, is just an okay safety. I'm glad he's actually been healthy this year, but he's just an okay safety. Darnell Wright is good, but also has his moments. There's no bona fide guy that Ryan Poles has drafted yet that you can just say he's 100%. The closest is going to be Caleb, but Caleb is somebody that it didn't take much GMing to understand that this is a guy you probably want to draft first overall. So my issue is, what's the point of having draft capital if you got a general manager who can't do shit with it? And I think that's what it comes down with him. Like, there's just too many holes on this team. Like, you have the fifth most expensive defensive line in the NFL, and they generate absolutely no pressure whatsoever. Your defense, no matter how much you won on Sunday, gave up 42 points and gave up 14 of those 42 points in like 3 actual minutes on the field. That kind of shit is disgusting. And that's why I personally wanted to do that. And, I see a comment here. Jay says, Poles and Cunningham told us they're not pressed by making the playoffs this season. The opportunity to get there, better position, we're struggling now. We did nothing. Yeah. And my problem with them saying that, like, if I don't remember them saying that. Not to say that you're wrong. I'm pretty sure maybe they did. I don't personally remember the actual quote. My problem is this: when you're a team like the Bears, who haven't been to the postseason in 5 years, and let's be real, you haven't really been to the postseason in 7 years. You cannot say really. I mean, with a chance to actually do something in the playoffs. I don't think you should shit on any chance to get in the playoffs. Right now, the Bears are in a legitimate playoff race for the first time in half a decade. So this is something where I feel like they probably should have made a move. And if it was going to be a little rich, it was going to be a little rich. That's my whole thing with it, because I can see if you have a general manager who can do something with those picks. So I'm like, if I know he's going to fuck it up anyway, I might as well go out there and get the bona fide guy that I know you can get. I'm not saying that I'm pissed off or upset. No, those are not the words that I would be using right now. I'm just like, yeah, that's whatever. I understand the logic behind it. I just not am with the guy who's running the ship. And I ultimately think he will be the reason that the Bears don't get anything out of this window. When you got this young crew of players who have lost so much over these last couple of years, especially these last 2 seasons, which in my opinion, at least in my time as Bears fan, there's been a lot of bad Bears seasons, but the last 2 seasons to me have been the worst I've ever seen the Bears in my Bears fandom. So I think if you have a chance to go out there and make the playoffs, you get it. Now I did like the CJ Gardner-Johnson signing. That was a low-risk move. If he continues to do the stuff he likes to do to get him in trouble, you can always just cut him. So I did like that move. But I don't know. Everybody keeps talking about depth. Well, what does that matter if these players aren't performing? So that's pretty much my opinion on it. Orlando says, not only that, Ryan overpaid for mid and free agency. And now we got to hope that Ben until Ryan draft players. Yeah, that's the one thing right there. You got to hope that Ben's influence over the organization or something. And we know he's going to be listened to in the draft room. I mean, we've seen it already with the Colston Loveland pick, with the Luther Burden pick, who we all heard were Ben Johnson guys, and they were also trying to get a couple of them Ohio State running backs. It just didn't fall to them. So, Van, what's your overall thought on the trade deadline? How the Bears maneuvered, and are you upset with it or are you fine with it?
I won't use the term upset. I won't go as far as saying upset. I won't even go as far as saying disappointed. But I will say it makes me feel like I've been left wanting more. When we look at some of the deficiencies that we do have on this team, right? When we look at the defensive line and we need to help them with Deo being hurt. I understand some people was like, yo, Deo ain't bring nothing to the table. So why does it matter? The fact that you paid him what you paid him matters. So maybe the trading of for somebody is hampered because of the contract that you gave him. We do have Austin Booker that's back, but he's still an unproven talent. So that's that. That's that right there. Grady Jarrett was somebody that I thought would be a big help to this defensive line. He has not been that. And Montez Sweat, we've paid him all of this money, but we're still seeing a lack of consistent pressure on the quarterback, and maybe he needs some help on the other side to help him get there. And we've not been seeing that from from the interior. So going in and being able to get somebody that's going to be able to help you, and maybe just maybe be a long term help would be good. The fact of the matter is, to me, is and I know what I'm going to say is hindsight. I know what I'm going to say is something that they're not thinking when they are in their offices. But we ain't did nothing with the picks that we've had for the most part. Look at your second round picks. What have you done with your second round picks? Which one of your second round picks have gotten a second contract? So for me, spending a draft capital of a second round pick to get somebody of experience and a track record is far better than what you've done with those picks in the first place. Again, I know they're not thinking that. They're not supposed to think that. They're supposed to go into every draft and be like, yo, I think we could find some diamonds in the rough. I think we could find some first round picks. They may fall and all of that stuff. And again, contracts may have played a part too. But again, you look at the success of the rounds that you pick in, and you look at what's out there. And to me, I think that you take a chance on spending that capital on somebody rather than drafting somebody when you look at the track record that you have with that pick.
Yeah, I think you're spot on that. I just, I would feel a lot better about this. I think a lot of Bears fans would feel a lot about this if we felt better about Poles. And Poles need to be thanking his lucky stars that the Bears actually held on and won on Sunday, because the conversation would be 100% on his ass right now if he did. Just like Brandon C says, I think we're in our 2022 Detroit Lions era. I think they want to build one more year before swinging on trades beginning. But then again, hashtag Poles. Exactly. Like when it comes time to make those deals, do you have faith that he can make good and smart deals? I personally do not, whatsoever, man. Let's move on to the actual game on Sunday. Now, I'm gonna give my reaction to it in a minute, but Bang, I want to know, what was your emotions watching this game? How did you feel when they blew the lead, and how did you ultimately feel after the game was over?
When they called that interception back, I knew something was gonna happen. I knew it was weird finish alert. Because that right there would have basically ended the game, and everybody could be over there and celebrate. But also, when you do that, and that little bit of momentum is still there, but when you're a defense that's looking like, man, yo, we out of here. We going home. Game is over with, and now they take that away from you. I do understand if you were to give up a touchdown, not necessarily give up the amount of points that they did and the amount of time that they did as well. So we don't normally win games like this. Don't get me wrong, we won the Washington game, but we lost the Minnesota game. And traditionally, in these last couple of years, really since Matt Nagy's first year, we lose these games, right? So I thought we lost this game. I was done. I was sad. I was shaking. My wife was like, yo, you good? It's like, no, I'm not. But when Caleb throw a dot to Colston Loveland, I'm at the very least like, look, we are in field goal position. But I know we missed two of these bitches today. And just because we're in position, that don't mean that Santos going to hit them joints. But when Colston Loveland bounced off that DB and kept running, all I was thinking about was Ice Cube on Higher Learning. Run, nigga, run. That's exactly what kept going in my head, and they scored. I threw my shoulder out. I had a bad pain in my neck. My wife had to get the Tiger Bomb. I was excited and in pain. And I would say that's the best win that I've seen in the Bears for the last couple of years. Yes, the defense was terrible. Yes, the special teams was even worse. Yes, on all of those fronts. However, especially 47-42, in my lifetime, I can't even remember a game like this where we won. I can't even remember it. I could think of some almost. Matter of fact, Mitchell Trubisky, that game against, I think it was Mitch, or it was Justin, one of the two. That just shows you how fucked up our lives are.
Mr. Trubisky and Black Mr. Trubisky.
Right, but that game against the New England Patriots, where the Hail Mary was thrown and the ball was caught at the 1, and we couldn't.
Oh, that was Mr. Trubisky era. That was Mr.
Yep,
Trubisky. That was 2018.
Exactly. Or let's go to the Cleveland Browns game where Justin throws the Hail Mary pass. It bounces all in Darnell Mooney's hands, and he drops it, which effectively ended any playoff chances that we had. And who's the quarterback that we win against that game? Joe Flacco. So in these last 10 years, we don't win games like this, especially in this fashion. So it really gives me hope, not only for really the season, still expecting the Bears to win between 8 to 10 games. More 8 than 10 when you look at the schedule. But I'm also looking at this in the coaching aspect of things and being able to get more pieces and having the other pieces around Caleb that can help us get over the hump one of these days or years.
Yeah, and I think the thing too for me was, well, I'm gonna just give my experience while actually being there. So one, this is how you knew that the Bears about to have an epic fuck up. My brother doesn't get mad at these games when he's covering. In fact, he be telling me to check my emotions, right? This nigga was finna lose it, bro. He kept pulling his braids back. You know how people with braids, or people with long hair, they be pulling their shit back. He kept doing that. He kept touching his face. Oh, this nigga's hot. And so the whole time, you know that you ever seen that picture of Squidward doing this? Not Squidward, but who's my man from Family Guy? Not Squidward. Giggity nigga. Quagmire. And Quagmire was doing this. This was me. This was me in the booth doing this shit. And I'm like, I tweeted right after the Tremaine Edmonds interception got called back. I said, there's still enough time for them to fuck this up. Because it wasn't like they brought that ball back to the 50. They brought it back to like the 3-yard line. And I just felt that was going to be something that was going to screw them. The Bengals offense, was just hitting because the Bears defense, both of these defenses were horrendous. And I just knew they were going to give it up. Now, when they actually gave it up, I blacked out. Not actually reaction-wise. I was just like, oh my God, this is all over again. Every negative Bears thought you could possibly think of was running in my head. And I'm just sitting in that booth just with, just hot. Now, and then I'm also thinking, the first 2 plays of the game-winning drive, Caleb was running for his life. He was running like Day when Baby D was chasing them in the next Friday in the parking lot of Pinky's. And I was like, oh, bro. And so, like, when he threw the ball, after he ran, he threw the ball to Colston. Colston originally caught it. I'm like, okay, good. We in field goal range. Then he kept running. And when I tell you the entire press box, all professionalism went out the window. Everybody, whether it was Bengals media, Bears media, was like, oh my God. And he scored. And it was just so loud in there because there was so many Bears fans in there. And my brother started grabbing me like, oh, let's go. And I'm holding everybody. I'm like, no. 17 seconds left. It's 17 seconds left. I'm telling everybody, chill out. And what had me really freaking out was when they got the ball. Remember, they had to get to the 40 to make it into actual field goal territory. Jamar caught that ball and got it to the 40. And Chris Emma, I think he's WGM. Chris Emma sitting right next to me, and he says, "Oh my God, that's the same yard line as the Hail Mary from last year." At this point, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. I'm all type of professionalism and optimism is completely shot out of my body. I was like, they're gonna do it again. They're gonna do it again. So when the final play snapped, and I saw first of all, I saw a rush coming. I was like, oh, DA's a psycho, sending a blitz on a Hail Mary. And so, but this is when I knew I was good. That ball went there, boy, that joint died after like 15 yards.
Yes,
like from the press box, you can just see that joint died. So Neshaun Wright intercepts the ball. Now somebody in the press box, not gonna name their name, said, "Get on the floor, you idiot! Get on the floor! Get on the floor, you idiot!
Why are you running?" I was like, "Why is he running?"
Everybody in the press box is like, "Bro, get on the floor. The time is up. Don't even try to risk a fumble." So after that happened, I really couldn't even breathe for like an hour later because it was so many highs, so many lows in just that time. But I remember when the final drive, I'm thinking, oh, well, even if they win, I'm not going to be happy. No, that was bullshit. I was elated. I was elated when they won. And that 5-hour drive back from Cincinnati would have been way longer than it needed to be had they won. So it was an exciting win. It's one of those wins where it lets you know the sports is not good. Sports is not good for your health because either way, I was going to have an extreme amount of emotions. I was thinking, what am I going to say on this podcast? What am I going to say on my recap video? How am I going to explain this loss again? And for them to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat is something the Bears don't do. And the Bears have done it multiple times this year. And not only that, the Bears are usually, I forgot what stat. I don't know if they were 0-82 or something like that before that. We never win shootouts. Win shootouts. Those type of games never happen. So that was interesting to see just how they progressed from there, man. But big win.
We barely be in shootouts. Like that's the
and that too.
We barely be in shootouts. Like a 47 or 42 game.
Yeah, 47-42. And I'm like, oh, this, you know what it reminded me of? That Monday Night Football game like in 2018 between the Rams and the Chiefs. And I remember that game because the Rams hadn't moved in the SoFi yet. That was the year they actually went to the Super Bowl. That was Patrick Mahomes' first year as a quarterback starting, and they were going band for band. And that was a game where I was like, oh man, this kind of reminds me just of that. But the thing I take from that is the defense was shit, and the defense has had some bad games on it. What stood out to you most about this game from the defense?
Ooh. What stood out? What didn't stand out? Defensive line needs help and needs help fast. So hopefully Joe Tryon can try to get some sacks. TJ Edwards, I don't know if he's in shape as much as he needs to be or not, because boy was he getting burnt in the middle of that field. Like it felt like he was running with stones in his feet. I don't know what the Bears was thinking with some of the play calling towards the end of the game, but it felt like they was playing the worst prevent defense ever. When they didn't need to, they needed to be aggressive. Defensively, I felt like Dennis Allen, for the most part, made good calls. They just couldn't execute. I know the wide receivers they got are all stars. Jamar Chase. I forgot what quarter it was, but he got left wide the fuck open. TJ
said what quarter? You mean all 4 quarters?
I mean, yeah, you're right though. But I'll say this from a defensive standpoint, because offensively, I do have something, but defensively, it was one of the worst performances from a Bears defense that I've ever seen in my life. That's it. It's one of the worst. To put that back up for William Foster, let me just say this. I lived in the DMV area, Silver Spring, Maryland, from 2016 to 2021, I still remember what William Foster talked about right here. He's talking about Caleb Williams. It's high school, and we've seen this kid, 18, perform in biggest moments. For goodness sake, he has the greatest pass in DMV school history, football history, not to mention coming down 28-7 to Texas as a freshman. Gonzaga Prep, I can't remember who they were playing, but Caleb Williams, the quarterback from Gonzaga Prep, and that joint was on the front page of the paper. It was everywhere in the DMV. That man threw a Hail Mary and won the game. It was one of the greatest high school games in DMV history. So I know we're going to transition to the offensive side, but from a and I'll talk about that more then, but I had to acknowledge that right there because I was living in the DMV when that happened, and I was like, yo, this shit's lit. But from the defensive side of it, it was one of the worst defensive performances I've seen from a Bears team.
And yeah, and so getting to the offensive side of things, I want to talk about Caleb Williams because one thing I'm gonna say this about one thing about Caleb. One thing I love about Caleb, no matter how high or low it get, Caleb's even kill. You never see Caleb get too excited about a win, and you'll never see Caleb get too low about a loss. And I think that's something that really, really helps him out. He went 20 of 34, 280 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Obviously, not a perfect game. No quarterback has perfect games, contrary to what some Bears fans feel that Caleb should have. And that just kind of goes to me sometimes. This is like a side rant. I saw somebody put a video on Instagram about not talking baseball with people who are just fans of teams and don't watch the sport. And I kind of feel the same thing with football. I feel like I don't want to put a percentage on it. I don't want to gaslight the fan base or, say everybody in the fan base is like this because it's not. But there is a certain pocket of Bears fans who only watch the Bears. Number one, that's a terrible way to live. Imagine just watching the Bears every week. I would jump off a building if I just had to exclusively watch this team every week. And I think that they don't see, or they're highlight watchers, which is part of this new era we're in, that when sports, a lot of people don't watch the games. They're highlight watchers where quarterbacks have ups and downs. I mean, quiet is kept. Patrick Mahomes may be having the worst season of his career right now. And, you know what I'm saying? And imagine he was doing it, the Bears fans be crucifying him. You got to find a way to win. I think what makes Caleb polarizing is that when it's go time, in a 2-minute, 2-minute drive, he is Tom Brady-ish. He is Patrick Mahomes-ish. He's done it 4 times this year, game-winning drive. And he also did it. I'd say he had it at least 4 last year. And his coach messed up all 4. This is just something that Caleb does. Williams said he's been doing this since high school. But I think what makes this frustrating sometimes is he does the simplest shit wrong sometimes. And you even saw it in this game. And I think that Kurt Warner said it best on the score. I think it was yesterday, where he said Caleb's getting better and not holding on to the balls long, but it's like he got to trust that his targets are going to be in their spot when he throws the ball. And it feels like a little bit he's still waiting for them to get to that spot. And that causes, turnovers and things of that nature. So I think that's what makes it irritating. But when you see the way he plays and the way he steps up and when the game's online, it does nothing but give me faith that he's going to eventually put it all together. And also, more than anything, I'm pretty convinced that at least Caleb is a really good quarterback. For him to be elite, he still got to do the small stuff great and consistently, which is still on the table. But I don't think that he's going to be a bust. Bust to me is off the table. I think his floor is like a Kyler Murray or like a Dak Prescott, which of course we don't want that him to be that. But for that to be a floor, that floor is already better than every quarterback who's put on a jersey in Chicago Bears history. So you have that. But more than anything, what I am impressed about week in and week out is Ben Johnson. Do you know the Bears have the number 6 ranked offense in the NFL when it comes to explosive plays? When have you ever seen that before? And he's doing that with the offense that is consistently leaving points on the field as well. And he and all the penalties. He's the one. Like that, my brother said it in the middle of the game. It was a home run signing. Everybody gassed up Ben Johnson for 2 years across the NFL, and he has delivered. And it's just been incredible to watch, man. And I think Caleb is a guy that, So like Shane said, people need to stop watching QB watching too and actually pay attention to everything on the field. Like, I'm not a big Bo Nix fan, but the way he won against the Giants a couple weeks ago, Bears fans have been bitching about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what happens with games, bro. But Ben Johnson's great, and I think Ben Johnson last two games weren't good either with the play calling. We were talking about that, and he really, really changed up this week. And I feel like the trick plays really kind of got the offense into a groove a little bit, and I think they got smarter in the run game, helped out a lot with that, and that's the perfect time to get to Mr. Calvin Nungai. Calvin Nungai was a 7th-round pick. I don't think anybody really expected anything from him this year. A lot of people didn't think he was going to make the team. I was one of those people who didn't think he was going to make the team, but you slowly see each week more from him, see how good he is. But this past Sunday was incredible. Now, granted, I understand it's against the Cincinnati Bengals run defense, which obviously is terrible, but I do not care. Why do I not care? He is a rookie. He is a rookie in his first career start, and he had in 26 carries, 176 yards on the ground. It was incredible. And I'm not going to sit up here and say that he should start every week, but I don't think there's any reason why Ben Johnson should be trying to do a very, very poor man's version of Demo and Jamar Gibbs with these two for the rest of the season. That's the way you need to work it. I still have questions about the Bears pass blocking, but when it comes to run blocking, Darnell Wright, Joe Tooney, Drew Dahlman, Jonah Jackson, Theo Benedict, moving furniture on the ground. And that's the stuff you like to see as well. The wide receivers got into it. Even Britton Brown got into it. He had 5 carries, 37 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. And then the receiving, I'm really glad that we saw more of DJ Moore spread the ball around pretty good. We're going to get to Rome and his daddy in a minute. But, Bane, what did you think about the running game and Caleb's specific play in this game on Sunday?
Running game first, I was not surprised to see what I saw because the defense of the Bengals is terrible. I was not shocked or surprised that was going to happen. In fact, the only thing that I was actually surprised about is we didn't see more of Britton Brown. I thought we was probably going to be able to see a healthy balance between the two, and not necessarily, even though Britton Brown did get a touchdown, or as your brother put on Twitter, buddy ass, which was probably one of my favorite tweets.
That shit was funny because we was in the booth like, who the fuck is dude?
Like, we had no idea. I thought it was going to be a healthy dose between the two. I even thought we was going to see some Travis Homer and stuff, but we did not see that. But I knew there was going to be a stellar run game because the defense of the Bengals are so terrible, especially their run defense, their defensive line. Caleb, that's the game I want to see from Caleb. That's the game that I want to see. Simple as that. 4 total touchdowns, and we'll get into
because he caught one.
Right, because he caught one. So there's that piece right there. 280 yards. I don't need to see him going yard for yard with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco had 475. So what? I don't need to see that. What I need to see is exactly what we saw from Caleb that game. That ended up becoming a more efficient game for him. The lasers, he felt like it was more comfortable in the pocket. When he does leave the pocket, it does make me nervous. It feels like an episode of Benny Hill sometimes. I bet if you put Caleb Williams running through the pocket and put the Benny Hill music in the background, I guarantee you it will be hilarious in what you will get right there. Yeah.
All right, Black Love on TV.
Black Love on TV. Is that Burger King? Oh, if I would have known you was going to Burger King, I would have said, give me some Burger King. Damn. Missed out, Scott. But yeah, so much for Black Love. But but Caleb, that's the game that I want to see from Caleb. That's the game that I feel like, as far as growth goes, that lets me know that we got the quarterback that we're supposed to have. And and not necessarily having to go blow for blow with somebody, pause, is what's needed. The only thing that I'm still irritated with him about, which I know is going to come, is take the short to get the long. Stop trying to win it all on one play. That's going to get you in more trouble. All of that, all of that scrambling to get to the side, just throw that pass that you can possibly tiptoe and all that stuff. All right, man, that shit getting on my goddamn nerves. Let me just say that's getting on my nerves. Outside of that, though, that's the game that I want to see from Caleb.
Yeah, that's part of the small things he needs to do better because he takes the Superman nickname very seriously. Like he still got that Lincoln Riley offense in him that he's still trying to get out of the system. But yeah, I agree with everything you said. Now, I know people are like, oh, we didn't need these trick plays, bro. It's like you can't get mad at people complain about and I don't see this a lot, but I see it sometimes when people complain about Ben Johnson's aggressiveness or him doing the trick plays and like in the middle of a drive, not just even in the end zone. It's like you dating your first bad bitch. You can't get mad at a bad bitch for being a bad bitch. How dare she getting looks from other people? Like, come on, nigga. Like, that's what you wanted when you got. Remember last year we killed Evil Flus for not being aggressive, not trying things. When you're being aggressive and trying things, sometimes it might not work out, and that's gonna be the stuff that comes with it. You rather try it and fail than not try it at all. So I think I haven't seen that a lot. There's some things I see like, oh, he can't be doing that. No, that to me, that's what got the offense rolling. You know what I'm saying? And more of that, man. But we got to talk about Colston Level, the one of the heroes of this game. Colston, who has had definitely a slower season than his counterpart, the guy who was drafted in front of him. That's Tyler Warren, who is absolutely killing it in Indy. But he had his breakout game today. Cole Kmet left, I think, in the third quarter with a concussion, and Colston, who already had a good game, he had 2 touchdowns. We forget about the touchdown he scored early in the game. In fact, I forgot about it until I went back and rewatched again. I was like, oh, shit, he do got 2 touchdowns. He had 6 receptions, and that's out of 7 targets, and 118 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. And his awareness to keep running after getting the ball, and he said that he didn't even really realize it, but he realized that when he got bumped and he bounced off and he was still running, he's like, oh, I have to make it now. He said, we got no more timeouts. The time is going down. If I fall, we're screwed. So for him to do that was to have that awareness and getting there was great, man. But the 2-man running game, what do you think that should be a play going forward for the Bears with using the young guy 50% as much as they use Swift?
Hell yeah, we got a poor man's Demo and Jamar Gibbs. You do that. Do that. Couple of things. We was killing Swift first couple of games. But
killing them until that Washington game.
Yeah, until that
Washington. Not even Washington, the Cowboys game, I think it was. Yeah.
The Cowboys game, we was like, it's the Cowboys. Like, it's
right.
It's the Cowboys. He's like, we ain't getting no game. Like, it's the Cowboys. But he's been having a pretty decent season, right? And you mentioned it earlier. That offensive line, run game. Oh my God. And then when you look at, if you look at Wright these last couple of games, you look at the shit that he did. I did something that I don't normally do. I tweeted Jeff Saturday. Because on Unsportsmanlike, they do the Bro of the Week with Jeff Saturday, and Jeff Saturday named his Bro of the Week. And if that Bro of the Week wasn't right, Darnell Wright, then you wrong. Because one, he's an offensive lineman, and he was out there pancaking marks. Then on the touchdown, he did a cartwheel. This big ass Randy did a cartwheel. He was that goddamn happy. Oh, I'm so glad we won. Because if it was some fluky shit that happened again, and they got Wright on tape doing the goddamn cartwheels, like, oh man, no. But man, that offensive line when it comes to the run game has been stellar. Wright has been on point. Dowman has been on point. We ain't heard Joe Tooney name all year, so you already know he operating at a Pro Bowl level. Jonah Jackson, we was killing at the beginning of the season because of the pre-snap penalties that he had. Them false starts and a couple of others. We ain't heard his name. And we ain't heard Theo Bennett's name either. Like, we have not heard the offensive line's name for the past 4 weeks. And that has enabled DeAndre Swift to have the season that he's having. And that's enabled Kyle Monangai to have the game that he's had. So now you have no choice but to put them both up in there and see what they can do. And you going up against the Giants, we could say what we want to about the Giants, what they've won 2 games, but Jackson Dart has energized that team. Scatterboo might be out for the season.
Ain't no Mike. That nigga ain't walking until like
you're
March.
right. He ain't even walking. My bad. Respectfully, he's out for the season. But when you look at that defensive line, when you look at Burns, when you look at Thibodeau, when you look at Abdul Carter, that's going to be a test for this Bears offensive line. So you're going to need to run the ball effectively so they're not getting after the quarterback. So you're going to need this 2-man running back system.
100%. And I always say when you don't hear the offensive lineman's name, we knew their names, their birthdays. We know where your mama stay, where your daddy stay, all that last shit because they was huffing it up. You're right. I was on Jonah Jackson's ass in the beginning of the year. I was like, Ryan Poles, another waste of space. You know what I'm saying? Like I truly believe Ryan Poles sees all my tweets. He sees all my tweets, and look, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he's a bad GM, and I thought this was going to be another example of that with the Jonah Jackson signing, but he's been really good, man. So definitely, I think that's what they should do. You should run with the all these brand Sonic and Knuckles is what they call Demo and Jameer. Run with the all these brand Sonic and Knuckles. Use this for the rest of the season. Make it easy on Caleb. But kind of like what you said earlier, Caleb has to make it easier on him more than anything. Use your 2 running backs that you have now. Use them in the short passing game. Get them the ball quickly so they can get extra yards. When somebody's not open down the field, see if DeAndre Swift is open. See if Kyle Monangai is open. And I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, they all these brand. I was gonna say Mariano's brand, but Mariano's is higher quality than Aldi's. And not that I have anything against Aldi's. Right. I love Aldi's. I was in Aldi's this morning, but it's neither here nor there. But what they need to do is, I don't know if you heard but Caleb like aggressively talked about running in his press conference. I need to run. I'm like, yeah, Ben been driving that into your head. Like, nigga run. Like when there's nothing open and there's grass in front of you, run. Like, we know you're not Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson speed, but you are fast enough and you're big enough that it's hard to bring you down. And we've seen that. So I feel like that's got to be a threat. He's got to do that. I think what's Caleb's like a dude who putting together a puzzle and you got like 2 or 3 more pieces to put in the puzzle. And he's fucking with the shape. Oh, I got to put this in here. Once he puts it in there, it's going to be a great puzzle. And I truly believe he can do that, man. Let's move on to Mr. Rome Odunze. Rome, we have this starting to become, it is a trend. Every week you have 1 or 2 back-breaking drops. And this Sunday, it blew me. It's a catchable ball that came through in the end zone. Touchdown every day of the week, and he completely dropped it. If you're going to be a number 1 wide receiver, you got to make those catches. And not only when you got to be a number 1 wide receiver, when you're trying to be a number 1 wide receiver in a cold environment city like Chicago, where that ball going to feel like a brick of ice coming at you when you trying to catch it. You got to be better than that. And he's young. He will get more experience, and I eventually think he will get better at it. But his father, now, his dad, James Odunze, he's on Twitter, and I just want to say this is a real account because he tweeted something last year too about Rome and playing time, I think it was, and Rome actually addressed the media about it and said that, yeah, I told my dad to stop tweeting, get off the internet. Ooh, well, Rome, if he hasn't done it already, which I'm pretty sure he has, he's going to have to do it. Because these kind of tweets came out of nowhere yesterday afternoon from the James O'Doon's account. He tweeted, he retweeted somebody. Hold on, I'm trying to look at the actual site here. Okay, so some random fan tweeted, "Can the Bears trade Rome Odunze to a team that will actually throw to him?" And James Odunze retweeted with the pin, like the location pin on top of it. Then Rome's daddy tweeted an hour and a half later. Roma Dunze, targets 59, catchable targets 37, receptions 31, receptions first down 27, which is 87%, drops 3, 8.3%, TDs 5, and 473 yards receiving. First of all, I'm pretty sure there's more than 3 drops. And if it is only 3 drops, those are some brutal ass drops that he had that just cannot happen. Now, I will never get mad at a father or a mother for defending their son, which I don't even know what they had to defend them for. I kind of feel like Rome is not being slandered about this. This is not like a major story where everybody's just coming to him. I haven't peeped that at all. I think he's obviously been getting it on the internet a little bit, but Caleb has been getting it way more than Rome. So I don't even know what there was a reason for him to lash out of it. Is he trying to say that, he needs to be getting the ball more when there's he leads the league and he leads the team in targets? Like what are we doing? He gets the ball more than anybody on planet Earth.
And then
he got 5 touchdowns.
If off the first 5 games of the year, he had a touchdown in each of those games.
In every game, come on, man, just stop, man. So that's my thing. When I get the father thing, but some parents need to stay parents and just stay out of your grown folk, kid, athletes stuff. Like this is just unnecessary conversation that now Rome is going to have to deal with tomorrow and Thursday at Halas Hall when the media come up there. Now I just think it's unnecessary. Anything on Rome's daddy?
Of course, my kids ain't the age of Rome Odunze, but I'll tell it. But matter of fact, me and my son had a conversation a couple of weeks ago where I told my son, if I ever do anything disrespectful to you, I don't care how old you are. I don't mind you telling me that was disrespectful. That would give me enough respect for you to identify, that in the first place. That was disrespectful. After a game that y'all just fought back and won, did your son have the best game? No, he did not. In fact, Caleb Williams had a better receiving game than your son. That's wild to say. With that being said, your son might not have had the catches that you wanted, but the fact that they were successful in the run game, who was a big part of that? Rome Odunze. Go look at those runs. And when they got to the second level, you go look and see who was there. Rome Odunze. To me, while Rome didn't have the best receiving game, he had a great game. Because a lot of those second level runs wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him taking on the blocking that he did. Now, yeah, he dropped some of them passes. He dropped some clear touchdowns. That whole little trick play that they did, they felt like they did all of that did too much to do. He dropped that ball and everything. So I get it. Flip side of it is you have to look at the other stuff. But let's not act like James. Let's not act like your son has not been targeted. Let's not act like your son has not been successful. I think what it is that his son did not have a good game. He didn't really have a good game last game in the way that he probably wanted either. And now his daddy is out here on Twitter doing too much. His daddy knew he was wrong. His daddy probably just continuing to do the shit just cause. But at the end of the day, man, Rome has to tell his daddy, I got this. Relax. Chill out. Because we just did this, and this is what we talking about. Chill out, fam. That's what he got to do.
At least last year, it kind of made sense to do that with the whole Eagles nonsense. But with the vibes is how it is right now. If my daddy did that and I'm wrong, I would be embarrassed more than anything. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you get older, I don't want to say you treat your parents like your children, but you kind of do at the same time. The older you get, and depending on some situations, they really are your children. But sometimes, and like, and granted, I'm not, I don't have kids. I will be an uncle soon. But I will say this. I think that's a good parenting tip. Telling your son if I ever did something to disrespect you, let me know. I feel like that should always be that safe space. Sometimes I gotta remind myself when I'm around my parents, you're 37 years old. You can't let them talk to you like that. Not that it happens a lot, but you know what I'm saying? Like, excuse me, adult here. But and I just feel like there's something wrong's going to have to do. Like, hey, pops, what you even on Twitter for right now anyway? Like, chill out. And we all know men, we all know athletes. You know that was a topic of conversation in the locker room. Wrong daddy tripping again, nigga. Like, you know there was something like that coming. So it's a very, very small thing because the Bears are winning and everything is it's feeling a little good right now. But yeah, Rome
You
gotta
know
put that in check.
what's wild about that? We expected Caleb Daddy to be tripping like this.
And we hear nothing from Carl
We hear
Williams.
nothing.
Nothing.
We hear nothing.
I don't even know if Caleb Daddy lives in Chicago. I
Probably
have
not.
seen you know the last time I saw Caleb Daddy at his introductory press conference a year and a half ago.
Man, Caleb Daddy living in a big ass crib in Georgetown.
Yeah, and enjoying himself in his rich, successful athlete son. That's
My
what we
man, my
need
man not
Rome to do.
my man not there enjoying Capital City Mumbo sauce.
Right, exactly, man. But last topic, you know, we were saying during preseason, we just want the Bears to play meaningful football in November. Now, I don't know about y'all. It's November 4th currently. It is November 4th, and the Bears are firmly in the playoff race to try to get not even really just a wild card. They're in the race for the division. Now, I just want to put it out here for people who don't listen and just want to comment all the time. I am not saying that the Bears are going to win this division because I do not believe they're going to win this division. But they are in this division race right now. If you look at the NFC North, it is all separated by a game. Green Bay is number one at 5-2-1. We have the same record as Detroit. Detroit is number two because they beat us week 2, and we're a game better than Minnesota right now. So if you look at the overall standings when it comes to the league, and we got like the playoffs and things like that. If the playoffs started today, you know the Bears will be. Let me see. Press the wrong button. I press league. We go to conference. The Bears will be just out of the playoffs. We would have missed the playoffs by losing to Detroit, and we'd be the eighth seed right now. But everything from really the entire NFC is separated by like a game or two. You know what I'm saying? So everything is on the table right now for the Bears and like 8 or 9 other teams to have a chance to make the playoffs. So I'm gonna talk about the Bears remaining schedule, and we're not gonna do a game by game thing, but just say like how we think we're gonna fare against them. So this upcoming Sunday at home against the Giants, like you said, to me is their last. You should win this game of the season. Now I do think for every game on this schedule is winnable. There's nothing on here that I'm like, oh, they have no chance to win that. Every game on the schedule is winnable. But the Giants game is the last game. I'm like, oh, you better win that game. And that doesn't mean the Giants are not going to put up a competition. I do think Jackson Dart has been a lot better than advertised. Granted, he doesn't have Scatterbo. He doesn't have Neighbors. But, you know, they've been in all of these games. Now, the good thing here for the Bears is that they have a atrocious run defense, which is why I think you're going to see even more healthy dose of Calvin Guy and DeAndre Swift if DeAndre Swift does play. And we'll find out tomorrow what his if he's going to practice or not. But after that, you got to go on the road against the Vikings, a team you already lost through week 1, a defense that's going to make things tricky for Caleb, and J.J. McCarthy, who actually played well last week and actually beat the Bears week 1. So you got that. Week after, this is the game that I was excited for at first, but now I'm scared because I see our defense. Aaron Rodgers is coming to Chicago. I think that game's getting flexed. I don't know about you. I don't know what the Sunday night game is that night. In fact, let me check to see what the actual NFL schedule is on week 12 to see what the Sunday night game is. Let's see. Sunday night game on week 12 is no, that's not getting flexed out. Buccaneers Rams, they're not flexing that up. Yeah, Buccaneers Rams ain't getting flexed out for for Bears Steelers. But you know what could get flexed out? They might move Browns Raiders up and put them on a 3 p.m. slot. Maybe. It depends on where this game is at. Is this game in Vegas? No, I don't know. Either way, this might stay there. But anyway, you gotta play the Steelers, who are playing some good ball. They're 5-3, same record, and you know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be salivating to beat this team. This is his last time in Soldier Field. he's gonna try to run the I own you gimmick, which isn't a gimmick, it's true again. So you got that. Then after that, you got the Black Friday game in Philadelphia against the Eagles. Then after that, you go on the road to play the Green Bay Packers. Then after that, you come home. Yes, and the Browns are a winnable game, but this is why I'm kind of scared about the Browns game, because the Browns defense is really, really good. The Browns defense is really, really good. But that's still, a game you should win. Then you play the Packers twice in 3 weeks. That Saturday game with this TBD, they don't have the time because the Eagles play the Commanders, but the Commanders are out of it. The Commanders are out of it, and I don't think Jaden Daniels is playing a snap for the rest of the year. So I do believe Bears-Packers is going to be a night game in Soldier Field on a Saturday. When the last time the Bears played the Packers at home in a night game? This had to have been like that 2019 opener.
Yep.
Which was a field goal fest. Then you got Sunday Night Football against the Niners, and then you closed out at home against the Lions. That's probably going to be worth something. So this is my feeling on these final 9 games. Now, I said this team was going to go 9-8 to finish the season, and they were going to barely miss the playoffs. We are very much on track for my prediction. I have not flinched. I do believe they're going to win 9 games. I feel even more confident than I did before I actually made my prediction back in August, because really they just got to go 4-5 over the next 9 to win 9 games, which I think is possible. 10 wins is still on the table. 11 wins is still on the table. But I just don't have confidence in this defense for them to actually win these games against better teams to actually make the playoffs, or something miraculous is winning the division. Now, Kyler Gordon will be available to come off IR the week of the Steelers game, which is good. We should be hearing something about Jalen Johnson within the next couple of weeks. They originally said he was going to be out for the season. Then they changed it, said there's a chance for him to come back. We know his rehab has been crazy, so there might be a chance, especially if the Bears keep winning, for him to come back. But overall, this is the team you got. Now, I do believe Montez Sweat has been playing a lot better these last couple of weeks, but he's still just a guy. I don't have faith in the defense enough to win 10, 11 games, but I do believe they're going to win 9 games, and when this season ends, we're going to be like, oh, this is the first time the Bears have had a watchable season front to back since 2018. I know they made the playoffs in 2020, but that's when they first started the Super Wild Card year. Let's be real, the Bears sucked that year. They were not a fun team to watch. And we might not be able to say this Bears team is good, because I don't think it's a good team, but they are exciting. If there's anything you can say, even if I'm a neutral, I'm watching the Bears game. Yeah. When have you ever heard the Bears be a game of the year candidate of offense? And that's what you're seeing from this team. So I do believe I'm going to make a soft prediction on the 4 games that I think this team is going to win to get to my 9-win prediction here for the Bears. So I believe they win. I believe they beat the Giants this week. So that'll be their 6th win. I believe they beat the Vikings in Minnesota. That'll be their 7th win. I think they beat the Browns. That'll be their 8th win. And then their 9th win, they're either going to beat the Lions or the Packers. No. They're going to they're going to break their 49er curse. They're going to beat San Francisco in San Francisco. Because I think we're losing. I don't think we're going to beat the Packers or the Lions this year. I don't, because of the defense. And I think that I think their offense is, and we all know Jordan Love and Jason and Jared Goff can't throw it to you. But I just feel the way that their offensive coaches scheme the games are going to be a problem for the Bears defense. So,
I'm not. When it comes to the rest of these division games, I'm not going to pick them as a win or a loss. I'm just going to watch them because I know how we feel about the Packers, and I know we play the Packers and the history and all that. I get it. But the Packers got the to me, the Packers got the two worst losses in 2025.
oh, easily.
Top two.
To the
They
Cardinals.
lost to the Browns.
Yeah, they lost to the Browns. They lost to the Browns and they lost to the Panthers. Yeah.
And they lost to the Panthers. And that should not happen. To me, those are the two worst losses of the year. So, yeah, it might be a situation where they play down to their competition. But it's also a sign that that team is not as good as everybody thinks they are. And with Tucker Kraft being out for the year with a torn ACL, you got Matthew Golden that can't stay healthy, Christian Watson, who might not be healthy around that time because he has issues staying healthy and stuff like that. Oh, I think it's – and Josh Jacobs ain't the Josh Jacobs that we know. So
No,
I think there is potential for the Bears to win that game right there. Because offensively, they come in probably as the better team. The Minnesota Vikings, I am still not going to give J.J. McCarthy my respect. That's a winnable game. And the Detroit Lions is, to me, is the only game that I'm like, because they whooped our ass, right? But the NFC North is a little crazy right now. So I think there's potential for the Bears to.
There's potential for that game to be the final game of the regular season Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. So, so I say all that to say, while I'm not about to sit up here and say that the Bears are going to win this or win that, that division has been crazy. And the people that's at the top that lost games that they shouldn't have lost. Hell, the Detroit Lions losing against the Minnesota Vikings with J.J. McCarthy coming back, that shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened. So it's a little bit crazy out there. But when we look at those non-divisional games, when we look at the Giants, they should win that game right there. The Steelers game, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? But the Steelers defense is a munch. The Eagles game, out of all of these games, non-divisional games is coming up. The only one that I'm like, we ain't winning that game. We getting our ass whooped on national television.
Philly put the beats on us. That might be a real. Remember when they did the electric slide in 2017 on the Bears? That might be one of them.
Yes, I thought Merck was gonna kick me out the studio that night. So yeah, and that 49ers game, I'm with you. I'm feeling a bit more confident about that game, especially, which I will say, I feel like that when you look at these games too, outside of the division, when you look at tiebreakers, the 49ers game might be a tiebreaker game. That might be a game that determines
they riding the hunt too.
Yeah.
That's another crazy division. Have you seen the NFC West standings? Oh my God.
It's just nasty.
It's ridiculous.
So I believe that the Bears will be in the thick of it. They're just gonna have to it's just gonna have to be a crazy NFC North.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think to close this out, my advice for Bears fans, enjoy it. Which is something I feel like I've been telling sports fans more and more. Enjoy your entertaining or good team. Because especially as a Bears fan, when we don't have many opportunities. In the 10 years I've been doing this podcast, this is the Bears' third winning season so far. It was 2018, it was 2020, and then there's this year. In 2020, I don't remember much of because it was COVID. We was at home. I was drinking every 5 minutes. So I don't remember much from 2020. Like at all. So this is the only one I remember. And this is my first winning season as a member of the media. So it's been fun actually get juice to go to the facility, to go to the games. Because I'm gonna be real, this is gonna sound funny, but like when you're a media member and the team is losing, bro, it gives you no energy. You don't want to go to none of these shits because you know they're just gonna get their ass whooped. It's like, why am I driving all the way up to Lake Forest to watch these dudes practice when I know it's gonna happen on Sunday? But I think one thing that's going to be valuable over these next 9 games, man, is now that the trade deadline is gone, we notice the team that you have. DA knows he's not getting any more people added to this defense. What's going to be his strategy for the next 9 games? I don't need them to be spectacular, but the way they played this Sunday, and the way they played against Detroit cannot happen for the rest of this season if you want an actual chance. So, but to me, if I'm a Bears, I am a Bears fan, but Bears fans to look at it is like we kind of playing with house money because I believe a good 50% of this locker room is not going to be on this team next year when Ben gets to cutting through the fat of this roster and telling polls, I want him gone, I want him gone, I want him in, I want him in. So now just have fun. Let's just watch it. Let's hope that people continue to stay healthy. Let's hope that Caleb continues to improve. But I think this could be a fun holiday season if the Bears win these next couple games. But to me, it starts on Sunday. You have to win Sunday against New York. You lose this Sunday against New York, then it's, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You have to win that game. But I feel confident about that. But me and Mikey will do a preview pod on that on Thursday, man. Bang, anything you want to say before we wrap up? Say?
Hey, man, the only thing that I'll say is enjoy the quarterback that you got. Hey, even if you said that worse is ceiling or his floor is Kyler Murray or Dak Prescott. Like those are, even though Kyler Murray ain't just got benched low key, like these are highly decent quarterbacks or was highly decent quarterbacks for the most part. These are quarterbacks, if you put a good team around them, they go to the playoffs consistently. They go to the NFC Championship game. They might go to a Super Bowl. They might win it. We might be a bit disappointed about how this trading deadline went, especially when you look at what the Colts did at 7-2 with getting Sauce Gardner for 2 1s. When you look,
I really want to see how they're gonna play the second half of the season because they got a tough score. And I believe the Daniel Jones we saw on Sunday is the real Daniel Jones. I am not convinced yet.
I ain't convinced either, but they going for it. When you look at what the Cowboys did with getting Logan Wilson and Quentin Williams, like I guess Jerry Jones wasn't bullshitting last night. He wasn't bullshitting. He was, hey, we gonna get some people. And their issue is not their defensive line. Even though Michael Parsons ain't there, their issues is their linebacker core, which they got Logan Wilson, and their defensive backfield, which they ain't getting nobody. But they got defensive line. They hampered there. But even when you look at what the Jets did, the Jets have capital. You damn well better believe that Justin Fields will not be the quarterback of the Jets next season. Neither, and I wanted to say this. I wanted to get a chance to say this. If there's a quarterback that's had the worst luck in the history of quarterbacks, it is Tyrod Taylor, because that man got stabbed, and Justin Herbert had to come in, and he was about to start, and they was like, "Yo, your knee hurt. I guess Justin got to come back in." But the Jets have capital for the next couple of years. And if they put it all together, they should be straight along with Aaron Glenn. So when you look at a team tear it down like the Jets, when you look at a team that you beat like the Dallas Cowboys, who's in the division with the Philadelphia Eagles, who's also in the same division as the Washington Commanders, who everybody hurt. Then when you look at what some of these other teams did, the Seahawks, and others, you kind of wish that the Bears can look at what they have and maybe not necessarily go after some of the people they talk about, but is there somebody that's on a rookie contract that's on the outs that you might can bring in that Dennis Allen could take advantage of? But you just got GJ. You got Joe Tryon, buddy ass. because I'm not saying his last name. I don't know how to pronounce it. So his name
Yeah, I
is
have no
Joe
idea how to
Train,
pronounce it. Yeah.
you got Austin Booker, who's back healthy. Hopefully, you get Grady Jarrett back, and maybe Grady Jarrett might not be for your first half of the season. He for your back half of the season, right? And then we start getting people back healthy and stuff. I guess that's what we're banking on. So that's all we could do is hope there. But I was really hoping that the Bears would probably use it too to get somebody and really go after it. But they didn't.
They did not. This is what we got. So hopefully it works out, man. But that's all we got for y'all today. Y'all know to follow us at Bar Chair Scott, at JR Bang, at Barber's Chair Co, at 79th Halas. All the links in the description box, man. I will have a Patreon only podcast dropping Friday. We record on Thursday, but we drop on Fridays like usual, where I preview the upcoming game. So if you are not a part of Patreon, you need to subscribe, click the link in the description box, or scan the QR code right here on the screen. Subscribe to either the $5 79th Halas tier or the $10 Barber's Chair access tier, which includes everything to get the preview pod dropping on Friday. We're going to do a full preview of Bears Giants as well, man. So shout out to everybody, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all week. I will holler at y'all on Friday, and of course we will holler at y'all on Sunday. For me and for Bang, we up out of here.
Since Bobby Ingram, Curtis Ennis, know that we've been loyal way back from the beginning. A trusted source for the news. 79th Halas, what it is, what it do. Since Bobby Ingram, Curtis Ennis, know that we've been loyal even when we wasn't winning. A trusted source for the news. 79th Halas in your ears, you.
Awesome. The Bears.